Hi, I am Joni Downs Firat. Thank you for watching my video about online strategies for teaching courses on wetlands, wildlife, and forestry. Among others, I teach 3 courses on the ecology and management of natural resources, including wetland environments, wildlife research techniques, and forest ecology and management. The courses were all originally developed to be face-to-face, but I teach them online, as well. These courses are all structured similarly. They're divided up into 3 main parts. First, I cover the foundations of wetland, wildlife, and forest ecology and management. The lecture parts can be done similarly online and face-to-face, so I won't address those much here. Second, I cover identification of relevant species, such as wetland plants, animal species, and trees. Face-to-face I do a mix of physical specimens and digital materials for the identification. Online, I mostly rely on digital materials with some supplemental options for self-guided field trips and additional interactive experiences that I'll briefly mention. Third, I cover basic lab and field techniques relevant to each course. So, I'll mostly discuss transitions from face-to-face to online for the lab and field activities. So, I'll basically just briefly mention a few examples. First, bird point counts are used to survey wildlife in the field. In face-to-face courses, I take students out to wetlands around campus. In small groups, they identify and count the water birds that they encounter. Then, they summarize the count data in different ways and answer some related questions. In the online version, students, individually or in small groups, conduct digital point counts using 360 imagery. I take the images using a 360 camera, like one by Insta360. I archive the imagery on a depository. Then students access the imagery and can interact with it by zooming and rotating it around in a complete circle to complete the point counts. Otherwise, they complete the same assignment. If you want to see an example, you can access a sample of the images at this web link. A second lab in the Wildlife Techniques course covers time activity budgets. Here, the goal is to quantify both how much time an animal is spending in each habitat type and how those habitat types are being used, i.e. what behaviors are being performed there. Face-to-face, I take students out to a wetland on campus. Students pair up and follow individual ducks for 15-minute time periods, switching roles as observer and recorder. Every 20 seconds, they record habitat and activity data. They later summarize the data and answer questions. In the online version, students complete a similar assignment. Except instead of following a duck outside, they view a video recordings of individual ducks and use those to collect the data. We also do habitat assessments as a part of the final project for that course. Face-to-face, students physically visit wetlands on campus and take various measurements of habitat. For example, they identify plant species, estimate percent cover of different types of aquatic vegetation, and record other habitat attributes. They later use this data and relate it to Muscovy duck abundance duck data collected using point counts. In the online version, students have the option of visiting the sites on their own or using a variety of digital materials, such as 360 images, satellite images, Google Street View imagery, and so forth. In my wetland class, we have a lab assignment on identifying field indicators of wetland hydrology and soils. Face-to-face, we visit wetlands and students identify indicators that they see. They also practice plant identification. In the online version, I do digital field trips using materials created using Storyline. Basically, they do sort of a scavenger hunt, and they have to click on certain features in the images. For example, they might be asked to look for a particular hydrological indicator. Once they identify it by clicking, they're presented with some further information, like shown here. I really like the Storyline application. I do a lot of interactive exercises across classes. Some examples include tree crown class identification, deer aging, exploring soil profiles, identifying plant adaptations, and so forth. So, This is a quick overview of some of my online strategies. While there's no substitute for actual field experience, the online activities have been a decent substitute and also allow more students to enroll.